Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing something super fun. I had my friend Ivy Rose, or known to me as Bianca, do an oracle card reading. So if you want to know about the process or how she goes about it, she has her account on Etsy, which I'll link below. But I just, in this video, talk about my experience with it and my thoughts about it. So I'm so excited, and let's get started. Okay, so for oracle card reading, I have Bianca, or Ivy Rose, do a little snippet about her thoughts on card reading and kind of what she wants you to know. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but I do want to tell you that I just think that card reading is a really great thing, especially during this time right now, because it kind of gives you hope and that like fire that everything is going to be okay, and that in the long run will help with your mental health, because in the back of your head you're like, well, the universe told me, the cards told me that everything is going to be okay. So that's kind of how I've tied this into my channel, if some of you are kind of wondering. But I had a blast with her. I learned a lot about myself. You know, the universe gave me some things I need to work on, setting boundaries, not being afraid to say what I asked for, not being afraid to walk away from things that kind of scare me, and like finding my true happiness. So I'm so excited to share this with you, but here is Miss Ivy Rose.
So I was asked to explain by my beautiful, lovely friend just a little bit about the cards and what they are for and what they represent in spirituality. So the westernized stigma with a lot of the tools that are used in spirituality is that they are from the devil and that they're, you know, used for voodoo and witchcraft and rituals and all that kind of stuff. And that is entirely not true. With a lot of the tools that we use, because that's exactly what they are tools. Now, whether the person in question uses them for good or bad, that is completely relative. I do not use my cards for anything out of the ordinary. I do not do voodoo, I don't do witchcraft, etc. This is to get into direct contact with the universe, with Source God, your spirit guides, angels, whatever you want to call them. And these readings are meant to be a guide, a simple guide. Now, this is not in any way, shape, or form saying that this is to replace any help, any professional help, doctors, psychiatrists, anything that the person that is getting the reading might need. I am required to say that this is for entertainment purposes only, even though I truly believe in what these tools do. But I am required to say that so that, you know, people don't do anything crazy. But this is meant to be a simple guide. It's meant to open up new possibilities for people who need guidance or advice on a situation that they're going through. And that's it. And it's meant to be an eye-opener. It's meant to enlighten, and it's meant to change somebody's life for the better. And that's what all of these tools are for. Now, something that I would like to express as well is that these things, everything has a way that it is supposed to be done, and it is supposed to be done properly. Just the same way that you would do with pendulums, Ouija boards, spirit boards, tarot cards, these oracle cards, there are proper ways for this to be done. Now, you do not just go into these readings not having cleansed your space, not having done sage, not doing something like that, because you don't want to go into these readings without having expelled negativity or negative energies, entities, etc. that might be in your space. So again, these can be used for whatever you see fit, although I, like I said, use these things for good, and for positive intentions to help enlighten others and myself. But again, there is a specific way and a proper way to go about doing it. So always go into these things carefully and properly. Do your research before you decide to either receive a reading or give a reading or practice in anything spiritual, period. So I do hope, though, that with this information, anybody and everybody takes something good away from it. They you know, if somebody's been thinking about getting a reading or giving a reading, that this encourages them to go ahead and do that, because again, this is for the best, most positive intentions and to help people push forward on their life journey. So I hope that that gives some information to anybody out there who was debating or, you know, was on the fence. And I hope to come into contact with some of those people, with some of you. And thank you.
Okay, so after we were done chitty-chatting for a little bit, we decided to get started. So I got up and I went and opened a window. She recommended opening a window or a door, and just because I wanted to like record everything, I opened a window so that it was still quiet in my room. But after that, she goes through and she burns, I believe this is like sage or something, and she goes through and she cleanses the room around her, so that way we both have a very like open-minded, very like healthy, clean atmosphere. And she walks around the room a little bit, and I close my eyes, and she talks about a prayer to the universe. So she's just talking about like, please bring all the good vibes in. Thank you for, you know, giving us this time together. It's just like a moment of really like connecting on this level, so that, you know, you can really be one when she starts going through all the decks. And I feel like it also was just like a nice minute of like kind of just sitting there and breathing and like hearing her say the prayer and just being like grateful for the time we were having together, and like made me super excited about like what was to come with my readings. So it just was a good like anticipation thing, and opening the window was really nice because I realized I hadn't done it in my room before. The 4 decks she is going to be using is the Power Thought cards, Trust Your Vibes Oracle cards, Music Oracles, and Starseed Oracle. They'll be listed in the links below. Okay, so then we started with the decks. So the first deck we did was the Power Thought cards. So she kind of like explains the deck each time, which I really appreciated because I wasn't really sure what each deck represented. So she just kind of tells me a little bit about what's gonna like happen and how she's gonna like shuffle the cards, and one of them's gonna like pop out and speak to us. So we first do an energy transfer though. So we close our eyes and we just take a minute, and like you can really feel it, you know, you just kind of sit there and all of a sudden like you just feel so relaxed and you just like fully trust her, and you let her just start, you know, shuffling the cards. And as you can see, mine like full on dropped out. It was like ready to go. So she then grabbed my cards and did a really good job of like explaining them both to me. And it was really fun just to like see, like she does a good job of like presenting them to you like while you're on the camera, because obviously like this is through the internet, so like the way that she presents it and explains it all is like really, really great. And so she explains, you know, what the cards mean. She explains what they like represent in like your life, and then she goes in and she has a book, and the book kind of goes into like more detail on the cards. So the next deck she does is the Trust Your Vibe Oracle cards. So once again, she's gonna just shuffle through, and that one just shot right out. But she picks, I believe, yeah, she does 3 for this card. So I put all the information about the cards down below if you guys are curious about the decks or how many she picks. But yeah, so we just kind of sit there, and it's like fun to like anticipate like, ooh, which card's gonna fall out, what's it gonna say. So then she goes in and she grabs my cards and shows them to me. And I also really appreciate how she like sits them up on her card holders so that I can see like what my cards have been. So she presents the next 2 to me, and we talk about the card and like what they kind of represent in our lives and like what we need to work on. So claim your boundaries was one of my big ones that like stuck out to me after the reading. I was like, wow, I really need to work on that, and it's something that I am definitely still working on with everything. But after that, she goes through one at a time and just like reads through the book of like the definition of the card. So the definitions are usually just like what it represents in general, and then she'll go through and talk about like how you can apply it to like your life and how you know, what the universe is trying to tell you you need to work on. So like for me, like I said, the one that really stuck out to me was the boundaries one, and how like I need to start setting boundaries for myself because I'm making myself unhappy by not setting boundaries with people in my life. So she does a really good job, and like of course, like because we're friends, we kind of went a little longer and talked about like on like a personal level of like how it's affecting us, and like how, you know, personal things in my life, because she knows. So the next deck is the music oracles, which was really fun. I was not expecting the one I got, but I was really pleasantly surprised and learned a lot about the card that I got. I'm trying not to like ruin it for you because she hasn't shown it yet. But basically what it is this deck is like a soul that you're like connected to that is famous within like the music industry. So it has like different celebrities of like all generations and like talks about like their personalities on the back. And I got Billie Holiday. So it was so fun. There was a lot of things I learned about her because in the book it talks about like struggles they went through and things that maybe, you know, they're not as famous for that I didn't know about her personally. And it made me feel really connected and like really just like respectful more of like, even though she's already so talented, just making me feel like, wow, like I totally relate to like the struggle she went through and coming out on top and like all that kind of stuff. So that was I think that was like probably my favorite deck. The other ones definitely I think spoke to me more in a way of like, these are things I need to work on with myself and these are things that the universe is telling me I need to do. But that last card was just so fun. And so after that, you know, we sat and just like chatted about my cards and like a summary of what I needed to work on.